everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you the 4th episode in my series called One Sheet Wonder Wednesday. And in this series I take one cut apart sheet from a collection and I make and embellish a layout with only one sheet from the collection. So the collection I'm using today is from Bella BLVD. It's Secrets of the Sea. It's one of the cut apart sheets in the girl collection. And I have this cut apart sheet that I'm cutting up now, and I have another one that's just border strips, but I'll be using that in another layout in the weeks to come for this series. So here you'll see I really liked the 2x2 squares at the top of the cut apart sheet. So I went through the sheet and I cut the bits that I liked into 2x2 squares to go on my layout, and it really worked out nicely. I used most of the sheet, and what you'll see is that because I used most of the sheet in my 2x2 squares, I didn't have a lot to embellish with. I didn't have a lot to fussy cut out to embellish with. But this layout still, it's a very bright, a very vibrant, a very colorful layout, and it's a busy layout, even though I don't have a lot of like little fussy cut embellishments and things like that. So here you'll see I'm just placing my little 2x2 squares in a grid formation just to see how I want it and in what formation I like it. So I decided I'm going to take my page. I've already applied gesso to that and it's dried, and I'm going to do some mixed media on it. I wanted to matte the 2x2 squares on another color. So I went into my stash and I got out my little twinkling watercolors there. And that yellow that I'm using there is called Sunburst. Now what you do with these, you just add lots of water, or as much as you want. The more water you add, obviously the less concentrated the color will be. However, if you leave the water in for a long time in the little pot, the color is more concentrated. So here you'll see that I'm going in with my another little twinkling color, and it's called Kiwi, and I just wanted to bring in some of the green, or I just wanted to bring in another shade of that color spectrum. I did go in with some gelato, but you really can't see that in the end. It completely faded into the rest of that. And that gelato is called Iced Pear. It's got a very subtle shimmer to it. It's beautiful. So what I'm doing here, I'm cutting these little squares into, I think it's 2¼ inch. I think. I didn't grow up using inches. We use centimeters. So yeah, the whole inch thing is new for me. So I finished all of that, and I wanted to bring in some more texture to my page. Like I said, I'm not using a lot of fussy cut embellishments or a lot of embellishing elements like ephemera and things like that on this page. So I needed some more texture, and I thought, well, what better than stitching? It'll also draw your eye to the individual little squares, and it just draws some interest. So here you'll see I've gone and I've adhered the little squares to their yellow mats on foam squares, and I've stitched. I had some colors there that I chose, and did some stitching. So I decided I didn't want to place the squares on a stark white background. That is American Craft textured white cardstock, very basic, nothing special to it. So I'm going to just do some splatters on it, and I thought to do the green, the kiwi green from my Twinklings, and then that blue is called Majestic. It's a very vibrant dark blue. And I didn't add a lot of water to my pot, so it's very concentrated, the color. It's gorgeous. It has a slight shimmer to it. All these Twinklings have a slight shimmer, and it's just beautiful. So the photo that I'm using, the photos rather, it's 4 photos that I cut out, that I printed out on my selfie there. And the photos that I'm using is of my daughter. We were in South Africa last year over the summer, and in Dubai, where we live currently, the summers get incredibly hot. It's unbearable. You cannot walk outside. It is very hot. It's in excess of 47, 48 degrees most days in summer, and that's degrees Celsius. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but it is extremely hot, and the humidity is even worse. So it's very yeah, the kids, they can't play outside. You're very limited in what you can do. So what we've been doing for the past 2 summers, we go to South Africa and we go visit family. We go for the whole summer holiday basically, and yeah, we just go visit family and escape to better weather. So here we're at the beach, and the beach that we went to is in South Africa with a very temperate climate, and yeah, it's the winter there. Obviously it's in the southern hemisphere, so it's winter in South Africa that time, but the kids were able to swim in the sea in the winter. It's lovely, and my daughter was running around on the beach, and I thought it was just beautiful to get a couple of shots of her and the sand and the footprints in the sand, and the beach where we were at. To add some extra dimension and interest to draw your eye to the photos, I popped the photos up on some foam squares as well. So there's now 3 layers to my layout that adds interest. And yeah, this is basically just to make the photo stand out a bit more, because it is a very busy layout, and I felt that the photos were getting a bit lost in the busyness of the layout. If I look at it now, it does look a bit overwhelming, but in the end it works, and I really like the effect that these little squares give. So that is a picture of just some footprints in the sand as we were walking down the beach, and I thought that's just beautiful, and I wanted to document that memory. I fussy cut that little mermaid out from a 3x4 cut apart, one of the cut aparts from that sheet, and you'll see in a while that I'm just going to be cutting out the blue from the inside of her arm by her mermaid tail. I'll do that with a craft knife in a bit, so that's not going to be stuck on the layout. So yeah, this layout came together pretty quickly, and it's a basic layout. It's one of my go-to layouts. If I have a lot of photos in of one event or of something specific, and I don't want to scrap them all individually, I do something like this, or I line up the lines in banner formation or something like that, and it's fun, it's busy, it's colorful, and you get lots of photos on your layout. So not only do you make an entire layout with one cut apart sheet, but you also use lots of photos in your layout. So what I'm trying to do here with this mermaid is I'm layering some tissue paper behind the mermaid just to draw some extra attention and interest to the mermaid. I like the texture and added volume the tissue paper gives to the mermaid embellishment. However, it didn't have the effect that I was hoping for. Now, I got the idea from another YouTube video I saw. I've got no idea who it's from. I've got no idea who made the layout. I just remember this woman took tissue paper and cut it up and layered it behind, I think it was either flowers or butterflies, and it looked divine. It added so much volume to the flowers or the butterflies, and unfortunately it didn't quite have the effect that I was hoping for with the mermaid, but I'm gonna leave it there. It still adds some interest to the mermaid, and I like the the white behind the mermaid. My title is going to be Cute, and as you can see, I cut it out from one of the 3x4 cards from the cut apart sheet, and it's nothing original. It's cute, has nothing to do with a beach layout, or, I mean, it's a very generic word, but I think my daughter is just the cutest thing on earth, and she looked so sweet standing there by the water there on the beach. So I got some of these little flower buttons from my stash. I've had them for years and years, and I'm just going to be adding them to two of the corner squares. And these enamel dots are from Pink Fresh Studio. It's a case of the Blahs, and I'm just going to be using some of the yellow. The yellow is the same color as the yellow in this collection, so I thought it would just add an extra pop of that color that I tried to recreate on the matting of the 2x2 squares. And these hearts that I'm going to be bringing out now, they are very soft, puffy, teeny tiny little rainbow hearts, and those I got from a local not a craft store, a stationery shop here in Dubai, and they are lovely, they are beautiful, they fit in with everything, and because of the amount or the spectrum of the colors that the hearts are in, they're very handy with all of my layouts. So I decided to add some yellow to those flowers, some more of those enamel dots. The flowers didn't stand out enough on that very busy polka dot paper, so the flower buttons. So I just added some of the yellow dots, and now the flowers pop, and you can see them a little bit better. And I think this is it for this layout. It came together really quickly and easily. This is a very easy go-to layout. As I said, you get a lot of pattern paper on it. It's a great stash bash layout where you can use a lot of pattern paper, a lot of papers from your stash, and you can add a lot of photos. You can even add more photos. You can double up on the photos, so you've got 8 photos on your layout with this. Because the photos are very small, you just have to make sure that the photo that you're using is not too busy. Otherwise, you won't be, really able to see what's going on the photo. What I'm doing here, I'm taking my Sharpie, it's a dark indigo color, and I'm just doodling an outline around the edges of my page just to keep everything together and to make everything look all finished. So this is it. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.